This morning on BRN, what the Department of Education changes may mean for student loan borrowers. And we're going to welcome back to the program Betsy Mayotte. She is the president of the Institute of Student Loan Advisors. Betsy, always great to see you. Thanks for joining us in the program this morning.
It's nice to be back.
And you're in a new room. You grace us with a different part of your home. Thank you so much. It looks lovely. You've decorated quite well.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, Betsy, when we last spoke, we talked about the potential for the unraveling of the Department of Education. We've moved since that time. There's been some major announcements. I want to ask you about some of the recent news around the Department of Education and what it may mean for student loan holders and future student loan initiators.
Yeah, so as I think everybody knows by now, a couple of weeks ago, the administration initiated essentially a 50% reduction in force with the Department of Education. Now, I was able to see the new org chart and at least a partial list of the people that unfortunately lost their jobs. And the focus seemed to be around, unfortunately, what I call the helpers, the people that would manage disputes or rectify errors on borrowers' accounts, as well as the teams that provided oversight for loan servicers and schools. And, you know, I'm between that and what has happened at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, I am concerned about where borrowers are going to go for help if something goes a little awry with their loan accounts.
And let's, I was going to follow up. I mean, let's face it, there are going to be service-related issues. I mean, you're going to have concerns on your account. You're going to need to call somebody, Betsy. Typically, it was the department and these individuals, these resources that would spearhead a response to a customer's complaint or concern.
Well, I mean, not exactly. I mean, if there's, but you're right. When you're dealing with 44 million student loan accounts, there's going to be errors sometimes. We hope those errors are minimal, but they do happen. Typically, the best way to resolve a dispute like that is just call your servicer. And the servicers are not affected by this RIF. So the people that actually manage the day-to-day with people's student loans and the people that are in charge of getting new student loans out, those are all vendors. So those have not been affected by the RIF. But sometimes you can't always get a problem solved by working directly with the servicer. And that's when these so-called helpers come into play. And, you know, if those people aren't there anymore, borrowers are not going to have very many places to go. If they're lucky, they have a student loan ombudsman in their state. Other than that, reaching out to their member of Congress or reaching out to an organization like ours that may be able to help. But the other fallback on this that I'm concerned about is preventing fraud. You know, the irony of this whole thing is the RIF was supposed to reduce fraud and abuse, but they seem to have gotten rid of a lot of the places that prevent and find fraud and abuse. So I am concerned, especially, you know, school, you know, the teams that do oversight of schools, are we going to see more fraud and abuse and less avenues for borrowers to be able to get relief from that?
Yeah, fraud, abuse, very, very important aspects of any financial transaction, much less student loans. Betsy, let's talk, you know, we have talked with you over the years about the cost of college. It's only gone up. It's not gone down, at least to my knowledge. What could this mean? You talked about the oversight of the colleges. What could this mean for the cost of college? Would that potentially see a greater growth or greater increase?
I don't think the RIF is going to affect the cost of college. I mean, the government can't tell a business what to charge. What I do think, what I do have hope as far as reducing the cost of education is the reconciliation bill. One thing, and maybe it's the only thing, that both sides of the aisle seem to agree on is that it's time for schools to have some skin in the game when it comes to student debt. And there are some proposals out there that I think potentially could have some legs that could help drive the cost of higher education down.
Would you mind sharing just a few of the concepts that you've read about or heard about, just anecdotally?
Yeah, so what I'm paying attention to is the CCRA that was introduced by Congresswoman Fox back in January of 2024, because I do think that is at least a partial blueprint for some of the changes we might be seeing when it comes to higher education, both student loans and the cost of education. And throughout that bill, there is this concept of they're looking at the average cost of a program across the country. So say at University of Betsy, we have a bachelor's in accounting, and it costs $80,000 to get a bachelor's of accounting at the University of Betsy. But the average cost of a bachelor's in accounting across the country is only $45,000. Under these proposals that I've seen, the University of Betsy would be required to return some of the student loan funds that they'd received based on the fact that our program was higher than the average cost, and related to the fact that the borrowers that completed our program were unable to make their full payments on time. So those two things combined would cause, hypothetically, the University of Betsy to have to return some money
So
to the Department of Ed.
sorry to interrupt you. So they actually have a little bit of skin in the game, for lack of a better term. Like, hey, it's not only about taking the tuition, but it's about ensuring that the student actually winds up in a good place, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Right. So there's a stick and a carrot in this proposal, and the stick is, excuse me, if their program is more expensive than the average program, and the people that participate in their program aren't able to afford to make essentially full monthly payments, that's when they would. So they're essentially looking at return on investment.
Yeah.
The carrot in all of this is they would get some money back if they, brought in more. If the cost of their program was not above the median, and they also enrolled a lot of lower income students.
Betsy, I want to close out. I figured tomorrow we would talk really focused on student loans, what to do, all that kind of good stuff. I want to kind of conclude on, and I don't want to talk about the politics of it, but there are some focuses on cutting back some of the grants or funding. Would that have an impact at all on the cost of tuition? So, for example, if a university is no longer getting millions of dollars from the department or from the federal government to support some of its operations, or if, for example, I know that what's been floated in some of the tax bills is to tax endowments, would that have an impact on some of the things we're talking about this morning?
I think some of it could. The idea of taxing an endowment's been floating around for a while. That one sort of intrigues me. As far as, I know some universities have lost some research grants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that translating into a higher cost of tuition. I do see that as potential eliminating some of those research programs, though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously change, there's recalibration, there's adjustment time. I know that some of the universities actually have put on hiring freezes, so that could mean less professors potentially, Betsy, to teach students. I mean, or to lead classes, right? I mean, that is a potential result.
That's right.
Well, Betsy, as I said, I want to conclude this portion of our episode talking about the Department of Education. Tomorrow, I want to bring you back and talk more about student loans, if that's possible. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program tomorrow morning.
Same here.
And don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse, for all the news in one place. Details, of course, at our website, and your subscription helps support all this great BRN content. And don't forget, we're back again tomorrow. I can't even get it out. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the team.